Hello. Hey, so yeah, today I'm going to show you how to take off an alternator on a 2006 3.8 liter Kia Sorento. I actually did this work about 3 weeks ago, and so I'm just going to show you everything I went through. I won't take everything off because I don't think I need to. First thing you want to do is disconnect your battery, disconnect the negative cable first, and then take off your positive cable and set them down on the side. Don't let anything touch the battery up on top, okay, because you don't want it to arc. Then we need to loosen the pulleys up. And you loosen the pulleys up, there's a bolt on each pulley. Yeah, and there's the first one. This is for your air compressor, I believe. It's right here. Let's see. Yeah, the pulley's right here. Well, the pulley's right here, obviously. Then there's the bolt on the pulley. Just loosen that up. You'll have to use an open end wrench or a box end wrench to get at it. That's what I had to do. It's a 14 millimeter. Here, no, I'm sorry. Bad camera work. If it's a 14 millimeter nut, and you just loosen that up, and then the tensioner is over here on the side, right behind one of the radiator hoses, and you loosen that up. And like I said, everything is a 14 millimeter. That is the one good thing I have to say about Kia. They used a very common size. Well, they used a common size for all the bolts in this project. But yeah, loosen that up. Then you can take that belt off. And if you want to get new belts, which I suggest, because you never know when your belt will go out. And better safe than sorry. They're only about 15 bucks a piece. So it's really not too bad. Then you take off the belt for the power steering pump. And here's the tightener, or here's the bolt on the pulley itself. Loosen this up. Your tensioner is right here. Loosen that up. And then that belt will come off. And I'll have to get down below to show you the one for the alternator. And it's pretty simple stuff. Any first timer could do this. Well, not any, but yeah, first timer could do this. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, yep, there's the nut for the pulley that keeps it tight up against the block anyway, you know, in spot. And then there's your tensioner. You gotta loosen that. You gotta back that off, and that's a 14 millimeter as well. Pretty simple. Take the belts off. Okay, this is really, it's not as hard as you think. Okay, and I've already got the cover of the engine underneath cover. I've taken that off, but yeah, you'll need that off. And then to take it, to take out the plugs, just squeeze on this plug, and it'll come right out. See? Very simple. And then there's the battery cable up on top of it in the back here, and that's 14 millimeter as well. You can put a socket on that, and then you can back that off, take that off. And the trick to this is, to getting this off, is you're going to have to take off the sway bar. Okay, here's the bolts on one end of the sway bar, and bolts on the other end. Just take that off and pull it down. Very simple. And that's the only way you're going to get this alternator out of here. Unless you want to, if you want to do it one guy's way, he said take off the wheel well cover and take it through the wheel well. Well, it didn't seem like a very good idea to me. There's a lot more stuff in the way than just the wheel well cover. There's this hose, there's this cable, There's a wheel well cover itself. That is no easy task to take off. And another guy said you need to take off a pulley and then take it up through here. Well, it didn't seem like a good idea either. So to save all your time and headache, take off the sway bar. It's a lot easier. These bolts, again, 14 millimeter bolts. So very simple. And then take it off, and you'll have to, it doesn't just fall out. You'll have to maneuver it through here in between the radiator and the crankshaft, the dampener pulley. And you'll have to maneuver it through all this. It's not just going to fall, but it will come out. Just, kind of finagle it through here, and then just bring it out through here. Bring it out, right? Very simple. Well, somewhat simple. And then take it into town. I'm sorry. Take it to your repair shop or wherever I just showed you. Put it back up in here. These are your mounting bolts. I'm sorry, I forgot about the mounting bolts. You have to take off. There's a mounting bolt here, and there's a bolt up on top. You have to take it out. And it's easiest to take out the one on the bottom, obviously from the bottom, and the one up on top. You can do that from the top. They're really not that hard to do. So, yeah, and then you just, like I said, just put it on reverse order. Put this back on just like that, and make sure, put this on first, and then hook up your cables after that. Otherwise, you'll wind up, you might, break a cable or break the plug. Like I said, it's really easy to get this plug out. Don't force it. All you gotta do is squeeze that plug and then pull it. That's all you gotta do. Squeeze it and pull it. Okay? Very, very easy to do. Alright. Once you get the alternator back on, tighten up those. Don't tighten them up completely because you have to tension up that belt yet. But once you get that belt tension, I'm sorry. No, tighten these up. That's just fine. Tighten these up first. And then after you get that tight, put the belt on. And here's your tensioner right here. Tension up that belt. And you want to make it, these belts will stretch. So you don't want to make it, twangy type, not guitar string tight, but you want to get them somewhat tight because they will stretch. And then once you get it tight, tighten up this nut right here. The same with the other ones, but that's the first one you got to put on is the alternator belt. And then you put on your air compressor belt next. And you tension that one up on top. Oh, and the other thing is, like I said, jack up the car, and it makes it a lot easier to work on. But put something underneath the frame. Okay, and then also, before I forget, before you get too far along on your project, don't forget to put the sway bar back on. Very simple. Just like 2 bolts, and these, there's no tension there at all. It's so simple. All you gotta do is just lift it back up, put the bolts in the sternum, and 14 millimeter, get them started again, get them in there, get them tight. Then after you get all that done, you can take out your blocks, let the car back down. No, I'm not going to let it down because I got to put on that cover yet, but we'll do that after a while. And then, like I said, you got to put the alternator belt on first, and then you put on your air compressor belt. What I did, just to make things easier, I had AutoZone where I bought everything. I had them label which, or tell me which belt was for what, and then I wrote it down on the cover for the belt covers, and then I knew, I just did it one at a time. Pretty simple. But this tensioner over here, that's your tensioner. Get the belt nice and tight for the air compressor, and then once you do that, then you tighten up this bolt on the pulley. I know, simple stuff. And then you put on your air compressor belt. And like I said, a good idea too is, new belts are a good idea, but also make sure that all of your tightener pulleys spin freely before you put everything back together again. It'll just save you a lot of headache down the road. Because if they don't spin freely, odds are you'll need a new one. And I don't know what they cost because I haven't bought a new one yet, but I anticipate I will. Okay, and then put your cables, your battery back on. Again, put on your positive cable first, and then your negative cable after that. Very basic stuff, but you got to do it. Okay, and we are done here, and it's a couple-hour project. It's a very simple project, but well worth your time to save yourself $120 to $140 in shop labor. The alternator I bought was about $220. I got it at AutoZone. And that was with the core. Obviously, take the old one back and exchange the old one for the new one. And then I bought new belts to the $215 a piece. So after taxes and everything, it was $276 for the belts and the alternator. Not too bad, really. It could have been a lot worse. I've had other vehicles where it's cost me a couple $100 more than that for all those parts. But now you know how to put an alternator in on an 06 Kia Sorento 3.8. All right, have a good day.